everyone, welcome to this updated video this morning. I hope that you are doing really great, and we have our two systems to talk about in the North Atlantic Basin. So there is that tropical wave just within the vicinity of the Cabo Verde Islands. Now that one is given a high 80% chance of formation over the next couple of days, so it's likely to become our next named storm. And in the Caribbean, we have what is now designated as potential tropical cyclone 9. So it was previously known as Invest 97L, but now because it is unleashing its dangerous impacts and it's just lacking a defined center of circulation, it's given that designation as a potential tropical cyclone, but it has a near 100% chance of formation over the course of the coming days. So maybe by as soon as later today, we could have it acquiring tropical storm status. So the next name on the list for the hurricane season is Helene, and after Helene is Isaac. So these are likely our two future tropical cyclones, named storms, that we are looking at right here. And let's go ahead and switch to the satellite imagery. As we take a look at it, we can see here that there's quite a bit going on. We have PTC 9, potential tropical cyclone 9, that is. And what is moving into parts of southwest Mexico is John. And John had rapidly intensified. So in the space of just 9 hours, it went from an 85 mile per hour Cat 1 hurricane to a 120 mile per hour Category 3 major hurricane. So it intensified straight to the point of landfall, and this storm was like, it was really reminiscent of Otis. I don't know if you guys remember Otis last year, that rapidly strengthened into a Category 5 monster and made landfall along the southwest coast of Mexico, just the same. So it was really reminiscent of Otis, and if it had a little bit more time, even 6 hours or more over water, it would have even made it to Category 4 hurricane status. So now it's been downgraded to a tropical storm. It's a significant rainmaker, likely unleashing flooding rains right now across some of the southern Mexican states. So that happened with John. If it had a little bit more time over water, it would have been a lot stronger. So John is moving in. It's going to be loitering around and dumping a lot of rain continuously along the southern Mexican coast. And then we can see that huge cluster of showers and thunderstorms within the vicinity of the Lesser Antilles. So for parts of the Lesser Antilles, it may be a thundery morning. Maybe some of you guys are experiencing some heavy rain. That is all associated with an approaching tropical wave. And then we can see that blob associated with the tropical wave near the Cabo Verde Islands. Well, it's actually impacting the southern islands now. So that is likely to try to get itself together and develop over the course of the coming days. And as we take a closer look in the Caribbean, here we can see what's going on. So with our potential tropical cyclone, again, it doesn't have a defined center of circulation. However, it is producing winds of 35 miles per hour. And it's not just about the wind. It dumped a lot of rain in parts of Jamaica. And now that rain threat has spread to the Cayman Islands. So it's likely that there has been some really heavy rain around, potentially even flooding. And that's going to be the story for today. Matter of fact, Grand Cayman is under a tropical storm warning right now. So tropical storm conditions are likely ongoing within the area. You can let me know what's been happening for you. And it's not just that. Cuba is also under a warning, parts of Cuba. And then for Central America, there's likely to be some additional heavy rain, which may trigger more of those instances of flooding. So let's go ahead and talk about the rainfall forecast for today, and then we'll move on to the cone forecast for PTC 9. So looking at the rainfall forecast here, we can see very vibrant shadings in the Northwest Caribbean within the vicinity of Grand Cayman. So that is indicating rainfall amount up to 5 inches. So as we're going to be heading through today, a lot of rainfall is going to be unleashed by the system in the Northwestern Caribbean, eventually going up to parts of Western Cuba, and some of those high rainfall totals also affecting the Bay Islands of Honduras, the Yucatan, the northern part of the Yucatan as well. And even for other parts of Central America, Nicaragua, there is all that moisture around associated with the system and it's likely to dump a lot more rain in the area. As for Little Cayman and Cayman Brac, there's also likely to be those very heavy downpours at times, gusty winds, those rough seas offshore. And then for Jamaica, there could be some additional downpours and thunderstorms across the island throughout today. And then as we head up to the vicinity of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, go into Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, there's likely to be some scattered showers and thunderstorms around similar thing for the Virgin Islands. And then as we head to the vicinity of the Lesser Antilles, as I showed you guys, there's that approaching tropical wave with lots of scattered showers and thunderstorms. So that's going to be the story throughout today. And some of those periods of heavy rain could be substantial enough to actually unleash some level of flooding. So should you encounter any floodwaters, turn around, don't drown. ABC Islands, much not expected today. Some scattered showers, thunderstorms likely across parts of northern South America. Now, as we go ahead and take a look at the cone forecast for PTC 9, here we can see. Now, something I want to point out is in the initial stages of the intensity forecast from the National Hurricane Center, a lot of times it is these forecasts are conservative in terms of the intensity, because we've seen where at first a lot of systems weren't even expected to pass Cat 1 or even Cat 2 status, but then they end up being Cat 4, Cat 5. Not saying that will be the outcome with this system here, but the environment could definitely support it to become a pretty intense hurricane before making landfall. And the high resolution hurricane models are still holding on to that. We're going to look at what they show in terms of the lowest intensity, the strongest intensity with the lowest pressure in a moment. So let's go ahead and talk about this first. So here we have the cone forecast, and we can see all these different colorful shadings around. So for parts of the northern Yucatan, there is a tropical storm warning and hurricane watch in effect. So tropical storm conditions imminent, hurricane conditions possible, because this is going to be strengthening as it makes its way up to the north, as it continues to lift up to the Gulf. So as I mentioned earlier, Cayman Islands under that tropical storm warning. Eventually, as the system moves up and out, that will be discontinued. Isle of Youth and other parts of western Cuba also under that tropical storm warning. And then there's a tropical storm watch in effect for parts of southwest Florida, the Keys as well. And then going further up and to the Big Bend area and the Panhandle, there is that hurricane watch highlighted in pink. And a bit further to the west is another tropical storm watch in effect. So by Thursday, the National Hurricane Center is expecting that PTC 9 would intensify into a major hurricane. And as I said, in terms of the exact intensity, that is pretty much unknown at this time, because rapid intensification is a possibility once the environment is conducive. There are already those very warm waters. So once the upper level winds are not too strong, meaning that they won't interfere too much with the system really organizing and being symmetrical, and also not a lot of dry air intrude in it to help to dissipate some of that convection, then it is definitely likely we will see rapid intensification take place. So NHC is expecting a major hurricane landfall along the Big Bend area of Florida. But as of now, PTC 9 is sustaining winds of 35 miles per hour and moving to the northwest at 8 miles per hour. So in terms of the models now for the track guidance, we can see that the tracks are really kind of locked in to the potential landfall. I mean, there is some variation in terms of where exactly along the Panhandle this thing could make landfall, but the same general trajectory is expected. We see them really spreading out after the system would have made landfall, and we see them take it all over the place, whatever is left of it. But for the short term, for the next couple of days up to the point of landfall, the tracks are really in decent agreement. There's that model consensus. And then as it pertains to intensity, we still have most of these models anticipating that it will become a hurricane. Now, going on to the high resolution hurricane models, let's quickly talk about that. So same thing as yesterday, we're seeing here with the HWRF. Now, the lowest pressure anticipated by this model on Thursday is a pressure of 922 millibars. That is likely a Cat 5. Next, we have the HMON model. This one is showing a pressure a little bit higher at 925 millibars, around the same intensity. Definite major hurricane, potentially Cat 5. Then we have the HAFS A model. This one is for late on Thursday. We can see a minimum pressure of 936 millibars. So this pressure is higher than the other. So the lower the pressure is, the stronger the system would be. So maybe within Cat 4 range right there. And then for the HAFS B model, it is showing that pressure in the low 920s, so 923 millibars at minimum, while the system approaches the Floridian coast. So this is for Thursday evening, Thursday, for all of these high resolution models, and they're holding on to that expectation that this will become a major hurricane. And one of the things that I really think will help out in terms of how intense the system gets is the rate at which it would be moving, because it's going to pick up in its acceleration as it enters the eastern Gulf. And that would really help to limit the time that the system would have to intensify. But we've seen storms go from tropical storm to major hurricane in less than a day or even within a day. So this thing here, it really, it definitely has the potential. It has that window of opportunity to try to strengthen and make it to major hurricane status. So if you're under that tropical storm watch or warning and even a hurricane watch, especially for Florida, now is the time to prepare. The time is limited. A lot of people will be out getting things together, ready to ride out the storm. So please listen to your local officials and get everything ready, because it's likely that there will be major hurricane impacts as we head into later this week. So late Thursday going into early Friday, that would be around the time when the system would make landfall in the state. And of course, guys, I'm here to keep you posted on it and what's going on. So again, for right now, it is unleashing a lot of rain in parts of the northwestern Caribbean. And then as for that other disturbance, again, 80% chance of formation, and it's likely to become a tropical depression within the coming days. And in the Pacific, John made landfall as a hurricane and is going to be a crazy rainmaker for parts of southwest Mexico, with maximum rainfall amounts probably over 30 inches in total across some areas. So that's definitely some staggering rainfall amounts there. But guys, as I said, I'm here to keep you posted, and I'll do just that as we head into the next few days. It's going to be very crucial to see what happens. And again, please stay safe as best as possible. So that is basically what I wanted to share with you in this update video this morning, and I do hope that you found it to be very informative. However, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I will respond to you when I have the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.